Hey everyone, how's it going? Gonna wait a few minutes to see if anybody joins us. But in the meantime, I'm gonna try and get Instagram Live going so I can do both at one time. So let me see if we can get that done. Just checking the connection, and we're live. We're live on Instagram as well. Hey guys, how are you? We're gonna wait just a couple of minutes. I'm gonna kind of situate myself and get ready to teach an essential oil class. Who'd have thought, man teaching essential oil classes, men teaching essential oil classes? We are certainly in the 21st century. But I'll tell you one thing, essential oils, in my opinion, men benefit more and have more uses for essential oils than women. And that's just my thought on it. We have more problems. We really do. Heart disease is higher. Cancer rates are higher. Type 2 diabetes is higher. All sorts of chronic diseases are higher amongst men than they are amongst women. And I think a lot of that, a lot of it is genetic. And I think a lot of that also is just the fact that men don't take care of themselves very well. Women tend to do a better job of taking care of themselves. So, all right. We are going to get started here soon. Hey, everybody on Instagram. Good to see you guys. All right, I think it's time to get started. We are 2 minutes in, and so I guess usually the first thing that we talk about is where did plants from, or wellness from plants originate, and how did we kind of get down this path? And I like to say it's really been since the beginning of time that we have been using plants for wellness. And a lot of that kind of mentality went out the window somewhere around the turn of the 20th century, right around 1900. We had the rise of the pharmaceutical industry, which I don't have a problem with the pharmaceutical industry. They've done amazing things for people. But we kind of threw the baby out with the bathwater. And so we lost a lot of that, a lot of the ability to use plants for wellness. And so we're kind of going back to what we knew worked and that I know worked. Why are people turning to it? Well, I think there are three main reasons why people are turning towards some natural solutions. Just think about it this way. Think of the organic movement, the GMO food movement, moving away from GMOs, moving towards more organic. People are becoming much more health conscious and much more aware of what's going on and what's going in their body. They're not taking for granted everything that everybody is telling them and saying, oh, that's absolute truth. People are they're taking their health care and they're in their own hands, which is an amazing thing. And so people are turning towards things that worked in the past, one being essential oils. Cost of healthcare is really, really expensive. And so people are starting to take that back and say, I'm not going to go to the doctor for every little thing. And part of the reason for that is it's expensive now. We don't have insurance. Insurance premiums are really high. Copays are high. Deductibles are high. And so it just costs a lot to go to the doctor. So that's forced us as a society in the United States to say, there's got to be a better way. There's got to be a way that I can take control of my health care. And then negative side effects from a lot of the pharmaceutical drugs that we've been taking. I know we talk to tons of people, and we talk to a lot of folks that are getting into, the baby boomer generation, where they're starting to get on more and more medications. And one medication will counteract another medication, and you'll have side effects from this medication, then side effects from that medication. And the nice thing about essential oils is, yes, you could have like a skin reaction to some, or you have a negative reaction, but all honesty, these are natural, and your body knows what peppermint is. Your body knows what lavender is. We've been around them for thousands upon thousands of years, and so we understand that chemistry of essential oils. How did we get started? I was not a huge fan of essential oils. I was a huge skeptic 2 years ago. My wife brought home just some samples of essential oils. Actually, she brought I think it was Melaleuca. Yeah, Melaleuca we got from a doctor's wife that lived on the street. And we respected this doctor. We're like, whoa, cool. And it was Melaleuca oil. And we had an outbreak of lice. Chloe was in a musical, and she was trading hats. And so we brought home some lice from those hats. And one of the ways that we kept the bugs away was with Melaleuca oil, and that was given to us. So that was kind of our first intro into essential oils. And like, what are they? People always ask, well, what is an essential oil? Essential oils, basically, there's two ways we get essential oils from plants. We either steam distill them, so we put a bunch of plant material, like twigs and seeds and leaves and flowers, depending on the plant that we're distilling, and we steam them, and then we get the oil rise to the top, and we get the essential oil out of that. Or like many of the citrus oils, they are cold pressed, and so like lemon essential oil and lime and bergamot and grapefruit, all of those, we take the rind, they get pressed, and we get the oil out of them. And so they're very, very concentrated aromatic compounds. Just for example, peppermint oil, which I love. I use it for headaches. I use it for fresh breath. We use it for stomach issues, anything that we might have. And so peppermint is great. I'm going to just give myself a couple drops here. Oh, it clears the sinuses. It just is uplifting. Like if you're having a day where you're just tired and you feel like, you know what, I'm going to go grab for another cup of coffee. Don't grab for coffee. Grab 2 drops of peppermint, put it in your hand. Take a deep breath in, and it is going to wake you up. I promise that. I promise you that. And it is great, natural way, without getting the caffeine and without getting coffee. I'm not against caffeine or coffee. After noon, probably not the best idea for sleeping, but peppermint is a great alternative. Also, I'll just take a drop down right in my mouth, and it's great for fresh breath. It is great if you have tummy issues, anything like that. We use it for lots of things. Complexity of essential oils. Here's one of the reasons why essential oils work really well in a lot of different situations. They are very, very complex. You cannot take an essential oil and you can't go to a lab and recreate the essential oil. There's just too many molecular compounds within an essential oil. And depending on where you get that plant, depends on the chemical constituents of it. For example, lavender, our lavender comes from 2 different regions. It comes from France and comes from Bulgaria. It's the best place where lavender grows. Lavender grows best in those 2 places. And so the chemical makeup of lavender is very, very complex. And so it is great for lots and lots of different things. For instance, lavender is great, and it's amazing for skin issues. And so we've used lavender in conjunction with Melaleuca for our son's eczema. He had really bad eczema and always has had really bad eczema. In fact, he was on a steroid cream when he was really young before we really were introduced to essential oils. We got him off of that steroid cream with just using lavender, Melaleuca, and fractionated coconut oil. We would put it on him at night and in the morning, and it took his eczema, any outbreaks that he might have. And so the complexity, great for healing skin abrasions, burns. So this is obviously, we're into the summer months. If you get a sunburn, lavender with a little bit of fractionated coconut oil is fantastic and amazing. So the complexity, very complex. That's why, like for instance, when we deal with like On Guard and clove and things that have natural antibacterial or antiviral properties in them, that's why I believe those are, and research shows this, Mayo Clinic, Johns Hopkins is doing research on essential oils and plant material, because obviously our antibiotics are not working well anymore. We are finding that bacteria are becoming resistant to those. And so essential oils, because there is the chemical makeup of those changes with every drop of essential oil, guess what? The bacteria don't have the ability to mutate with regards to those. They just don't. They can't, because it's changing all the time. But the molecular makeup of, for instance, any one of the antibiotics on the market, very consistent all the time. The molecular makeup is exactly the same. And so complexity goes in the favor of essential oils. Sweet. Why doTERRA? So sorry about the sun. I just realized that our windows, our drapes are open and the sun is coming in when I move back like this. So I'm going to stop doing that. So why did we choose doTERRA? Well, we did do quite a bit of research when we were looking into essential oils. And in all honesty, we had one doctor's wife that gave us a bottle of Melaleuca. We looked at the bottle and it was doTERRA. We had another doctor's wife that gave us a whole bunch of samples, both two very well-respected doctor's wives giving us essential oils. Both of them were doTERRA. And so we started looking into doTERRA. We started looking into the essential oils that they manufacture and or they distill and produce. And we found that we love the fact that doTERRA does what's called co-impact sourcing. And that means that almost all the oils come from the areas of the world where they grow, and those plants grow indigenously. So for instance, peppermint grows great in the northeast or in the northwest of the United States. So we get our peppermint right from farms in the northwest of the United States. Vetiver, which is a plant, it's a grass that's great for sleeping. I won't go over that, but there's a lot of things that are just really great with regards to vetiver. That comes from Haiti. We talked a little bit about lavender, and that grows best in Bulgaria and France. And so we get the oils, and I love the fact that we get the oils where the plants grow best indigenously and where they grow naturally. That is where it's like getting wine. Okay, I love Door County. I love Door County, but and that's in Wisconsin. That's up in the Little Finger, Wisconsin. But they tout the fact that they grow a lot of grapes, and they're like a wine producer. But guess what? I'd rather have a wine from Napa Valley or France, or maybe even Italy. You know why? Because grapes grow best in those areas. So that's very similar to the way that doTERRA looks at essential oils. Wherever the plant grows best is where doTERRA gets them. And here's the thing. A lot of these areas are very poverty-stricken. They are third world nations, developing nations. And so how do we work with them? So through what's called co-impact sourcing in our Healing Hands Foundation, we really go into these communities, doTERRA does, we show the farmers how to grow and harvest these plants properly, when to get them. We provide education. We provide clinics. We provide all sorts of things, more of a hand up to these communities and say, hey, we're going to partner with you. We're going to pay you before or right on time before the plant is given to us. We are going to pay you above fair trade value for all these plants. And so those are the things, these are all of these things together, and really drove us to choosing doTERRA as the brand of oil that we are that we decided to go with. We loved it. And they do tons of testing. Here's the thing. Before doTERRA even receives the oil, they are third-party tested at 5 different laboratories around the United States and around the world. And so we know that they are certified pure therapeutic grade. And we know we are getting the best. There's no contaminants. There's no pesticides. There's no bird droppings. There's nothing on these plants. And if we get a batch of oil that is not up to the standard of doTERRA, the third party throws out those batches. We couldn't get, last year, we couldn't get for a while, we couldn't get Roman chamomile and Melissa oil because they threw out the batches. And so they put their money where their mouth is, and we loved that. So if you want to learn more about co-impact sourcing and how doTERRA really goes above and beyond fair trade, just look up doTERRA and Forbes. And they did a nice spread on how doTERRA goes above and beyond fair trade. And that really meant a lot to me. All right, let's get into some oils. What do you think? I think that's a good idea. I know I'm not looking directly at the folks at Instagram. Hi. Love you guys. I'm going to talk a little bit about, we talked about peppermint and things that it's good for. Peppermint is our go-to. We go through a lot of peppermint. We use it for all sorts of things. I use it for headaches, tension headaches, all kinds of things. Great for fresh breath, good for tummies, good for if you get sunburn, lavender and peppermint, great together because peppermint's going to give you that cooling sensation. So love, love, love peppermint. Aches and pains. It's fantastic for aches and pains. And so love peppermint. Next one I want to talk about, we did talk about lavender a little bit. So lavender is great for skin abrasions, good for burns, good for calming. It is fantastic for putting in your diffuser next to your bed at night. We don't use a lot of this in our diffuser just because we like cedarwood better than lavender, but Eli likes lavender. And so we use lavender in Eli's diffuser quite often. If you have seasonal issues, so allergies, things of that nature, lavender is a natural, where is the camera? I hate when you go backwards on these things. Lavender is a natural antihistamine. Along with peppermint and lemon, put them in a little capsule or in a little shot glass, take it down with some water. It is a great natural antihistamine and great for those seasonal threats. The next one I want to talk about is, we talked a little bit earlier about Melaleuca. Melaleuca is naturally an antifungal and an antibacterial oil. I use this in conjunction with oregano oil to cure my nasty toes. So men have nasty toes. It's just the way it is. And so I had toenail fungus. I don't know. I know there are a lot of women out there that have toenail fungus too, and they just don't admit it. But I admit it. I had toenail fungus. How do you get rid of it? You get rid of it with Melaleuca, oregano, and fractionated coconut oil. So I did about half full of, I took a, where do I have gotta have a roller ball here. Yes, I do. So I took about that size roller ball, filled up half of it with Melaleuca and oregano, and the rest of it I filled with fractionated coconut oil. I would kind of file down my toes, and I would put it on 3 times a day, and it cured my nasty toenail fungus much faster than any other option that was out on the market. Usually they would prescribe Lamisil to you in tablet form, and that does take care of it, but it's extremely hard on your kidneys, and I can't have anything that's hard on my kidneys because I have a genetic kidney issue. And so happy day, I'm not able to utilize any of those options, and so that was my option, and it took care of it. And we have actually a lot of stories of men in our organization that have cured their nasty toenail fungus. I'm sure there's women too, but they just don't say that they had toenail fungus. Becky, what did you just say? Use lavender just yesterday when I burned my thumb on a hot flat iron. Immediately took away the burn. Love that. Yes, yes, it's fantastic. It's amazing. These things are great, and I know that I am in the minority, although for men, because men just tend to not think essential oils are for them. But there is a paradigm shift. We just added a new customer yesterday, or actually this morning, who is one of the ER doctors down in Salida, which is a hospital just south of us. And so he is extremely excited about utilizing essential oils in his home. So Melaleuca, great for fungus, and it's a great antimicrobial, antiviral type of essential oil. Also gets the smells out. And so the other day we had a mouse that died outside in one of the walls, and it made one of our cabinets just smell horrible. So we put a little bit of Melaleuca on a cotton ball and stuck it in there, and it took the smell away. So it's great for that. Nasty shoes, guys, or women who have men who have nasty smelling feet, put this in their shoes. It's fantastic. Next one I want to talk about is On Guard. On Guard is our immune boosting blend. And so it has clove and cinnamon and wild orange and eucalyptus and lots of these antiviral type of high-powered essential oils. And so whenever I get like the start of a small throat that cause like a sore throat, scratchy throat, anything like that, I take 2 drops of On Guard, and I take it and I swish it around in my mouth. I take it down, and then I take some water, swish it around, and take it down again. And within a day and a half, 2 days, it's gone. And so we use this all the time. We use it in our diffuser. We use it in, we mix it in water. We put it in capsules. It is a must-have during cold and flu season. We just do it preventatively during cold and flu season. So On Guard is fantastic for that. Lemon essential oil. Lemon, what do I want to say about lemon? Lemon, because I'm a guy, I love lemon. It is a natural glugon. And so these days, sometimes, pretty often, guys are out in the car, they're fixing things, they're doing all kinds of, you get nasty oil and stuff on your hands and sticky stuff and all kinds of stuff. Lemon is almost like a degreaser. It really is a degreaser. It's really a solvent, and more of a solvent than it actually is a oil. And so it's going to take a residue off. So even if you have just a label that you're trying to get off something and you have that nasty glue, put a little bit of lemon oil on that, take it right off. If you have a nasty carpet stain, or you have, I don't know, permanent marker on the wall, something like that, use your lemon. Use your lemon. It's great for cleaning. It is also fantastic for detoxifying your insides, okay? And so we often are using lemon. Lemon is my favorite. I like lemon and peppermint, but I put lemon and peppermint in my water. Lemon is fantastic for detoxifying liver, things of that nature, so that you are drawing out those toxins. That is why people will put lemon, squeeze lemons in their water. But that's too much work for me. I mean, honestly, just a couple of drops, 1 or 2 drops in a tall glass is much easier than cutting up like 6 or 7 lemons and then squeezing them and putting them in. Just get a bottle of lemon oil and use it in your water. Great for all sorts of things with regards to detoxifying. Next one I want to talk about, one of my personal favorites, is the Digeszen. I hate this camera. Digeszen is the digestive blend. It has peppermint, it has anise, it has caraway, ginger root, all sorts of things that are going to be good for your tummy. things that are going to calm your tummy. And this is the one that really set me over the edge. And that's because for 17 years, almost 20 years of my life, I had spent on acid reflux medication. And acid reflux medication, I actually got really on some fairly high-powered stuff, Protonics, which is kind of like a high-powered Prevacid. It's just a pump inhibitor, so it inhibits the pumps in your stomach from producing and acid in, which is not good for your stomach. You need stomach acid because that is what digests your food. It's that first digestion, the second digestion, because your mouth does the first bit of digestion, but the stomach acid digests your food. And if you aren't producing stomach acid, then you're not producing your food, you're not getting the nutrients you need, and in fact, that's when you start to get heartburn and acid reflux. And so none of that is good. So being on a pump inhibitor, not really a good idea. You really need to, I needed to move, and my doctor had said, you need to get off of these medications because they're not doing anything good for your liver and kidneys, and you need to get on something natural. You need to change your diet. You need to do lots of different things. So I decided to take Digestion, and wean myself off of the Protonics that I was on. And that didn't happen overnight. It was about a 2.5, 3 month period where I would take Digestion with Protonics, and then I would cut the Protonics pill in half, and I would take part of the Protonics, and I would take Digestion, and then I just started doing Digestion. And so now I don't take anything. I have not had heartburn or acid reflux in almost a year now. I've been completely off of everything, and feeling great. And so that is just a testimony to what Digestion is. We use it all the time on our kiddos. So they start to get a little bit of a funky stomach, whatever it is. We take a little bit of Digestion. We take some fractionated coconut oil, mix it together, and rub it on their tummy. The scent is great for calming the tummy, and it is a nice warming feeling as well. And it's just, it just works, and it works fantastic. The next one I want to talk about is frankincense. Now, frankincense is known as what we call the king of all oils. And the reason is it is the most complex, or one of the most complex oils out there. And you can use it almost for anything. And there's been so many studies out there. If you just go to like PubMed, just Google frankincense, PubMed, and studies, and there's hundreds of studies done by lots of different institutions about the efficacy and how well frankincense works on all sorts of different ailments. It aids our system in what's called apoptosis, which is natural cell die-off. And so that is amazing, and I think it is one of those things that is going to be in the next 5 years, you're going to start seeing more and more and more of frankincense being used in the mainstream medical community. Great story with regards to frankincense. One of our great friends here in Buena Vista, Colorado, he went in for a standard checkup and found out he had got a PSA score, which is a prostate exam, which happens when you get just slightly older than I am. You have to go in for those types of things, and his PSA score was 18.65, which is not good at all. In fact, they really will contact the oncologist, and you start to go through the process of going and getting biopsies, because your PSA score being that high basically states that, yeah, you probably have prostate cancer. He wasn't able to get into the biopsy for another month and a half, and so he said to his urologist, he said basically saying, hey, I want to try for the next month and a half, next 6 weeks, I'd like to try a regimen of essential oils. And so he did his research and did his regimen of essential oils, which basically consisted of fractionated coconut oil and frankincense taken in the area that you don't want to put anything in. But that's what he did. And he did it consistently 3 times a day over the next 6 weeks in the in-between period between his first PSA test, and then he went in for a second PSA test right before he was going to go in to get the biopsy. And his PSA score went down from 18.65 to 2.06. I'm going to pause right there because that is incredible. The doctor, the urologist, was floored. They were calling him the miracle man, I think is what they called when the nurses and everybody found out about how he did it and how he approached this. Now, indeed, he will be the first one to tell you that it wasn't just the essential oils; it was the essential oils and prayer. And he's not sure which one did it, but it doesn't matter. We know that essential oils work, and frankincense is an amazing essential oil. It is great for preventative things, like just making sure that we're supporting our body, our immune system, effectively, and just taking a couple drops of that in the morning preventatively. It's great for skin things, anything skin, nails, hair, all sorts of things. It is the king of all oils. And so we absolutely love frankincense. But that is just an amazing testimonial of how somebody took their healthcare into their own hands. And the doctor basically said, we don't need to do the biopsy now. We're not going to do the biopsy. Come back in, I think he has to go back in 12 months for his next checkup and his next PSA test. And so praise God for that. And thank God that he made these amazing essential oils and the amazing plants that we can utilize and take control of our own healthcare. And so we love frankincense. Next one I want to talk about. One of our personal favorites because, well, we do a lot of hiking and all kinds of stuff. I swear I'm going to get this by the end of the night. Deep Blue. Deep Blue, the main ingredient in Deep Blue is wintergreen oil, but it also has cinnamon in it and cassia and some other things in it. But it is great for muscle aches. It is great for joint pain, things of that nature. If you have like rheumatoid arthritis or any of those type of arthritic conditions, so here's what you want to do. You have Deep Blue rub, and you also want to have your frankincense because frankincense is a natural anti-inflammatory. Okay, and so you rub the two together. You put them on your knees. You put them on your joints, wherever things are starting to get maybe a little bit achy, or you're having pain. Those two. Make it your go-to, okay? So Deep Blue is absolutely amazing. And people will say, well, I always get this. I always say, well, why is it better than like Icy Hot or Ben-Day? Okay, here's the thing. Icy Hot, if you look at the main, like if you look at the extra strength Icy Hot, go to Walgreens, turn the package over and look at the main active ingredient. You're going to find menthol and probably methyl salicyate. Those are 2 chemical compounds. And you know what wintergreen oil, the main chemical constituent in wintergreen, a really good wintergreen oil is 98.5% methyl salicyate. Look at the percentage of methyl salicyate in Icy Hot. Most likely it's either less than 20% or at the most maybe like 25 to 26%. Just go and use a drop of Deep Blue or wintergreen oil, and you're going to get a much, much better product. And it's straight from the plant. It's not being concocted in a lab. You're just getting it directly from the plant. And so they figured it out. Procter & Gamble or whoever owns Icy Hot and Ben-Gay, they figured it out. They figured out that wintergreen oil and cinnamon oil and all of these things are really good for muscle aches and muscle pains. And so they take the main chemical constituent, they pull it out, and they put it in very small amounts in a cream that probably has parabens in it and all kinds of things that are not good for you. And They sell it to you at Walgreens as icy hot. So just use wintergreen oil or use deep blue. You're going to get better results from it. So I think those are all the oils I'm going to talk about right now. I think that's it. I think I covered all of them. Don't forget fractionated coconut oil. We use this all the time. There are 3 ways you can utilize essential oils internally. We use them in veggie caps all the time. I talked a little bit about that during cold and flu season. How do we use On Guard? We take it in capsules. We put it in water. We do those types of things. That's taking it internally, and it's great for our system, and it is great for boosting our immune system from inside out. It's the fastest way to get the oils into us. Secondly, topically, taking essential oils, putting a drop in our hands, and using some sort of carrier oil. The carrier oil is extremely important when you're using things topically. Why? Well, it weights down the oil, and it allows the oil to spread more evenly. A lot of these oils are, like I said, they're more like solvents, and they tend to want to fly away. They want to evaporate. And so fractionated coconut oil, which is a kind of any vegetable-based oil, really, olive oil. You could use olive oil. You can use fractionated coconut oil. We like that because it's because of the weight of it, and there's no smell to it. But you can use grapeseed oil or jojoba oil. Any vegetable-based oil is going to be a good carrier oil for your essential oils. So topically, that's a second way you can use essential oils. And the third way you can use essential oils is aromatically. We did this earlier. I did this earlier when I took the peppermint, put it in my hand, spread it around, and then it's still there. It's great. But that is getting those that peppermint into my system, uplifting my mood. I liked this one. I saw a video on YouTube just the other day, and it was this doTERRA wellness advocate. I think she was. We're trying to launch some people in Brazil. So Brazil is going to be distributing in, or doTERRA is going to be distributing in Brazil. And so we have some folks and customers down in Brazil, and so they're super excited to be able to get products in their hand. But anyway, she was going through how they use essential oils. And when she's in a class, she actually takes wild orange and she says, okay, think of the absolute worst situation that you could be in, or that person that really bugs you at work. Think about that person, or at school, or wherever it is. Think about that person. Take a drop of wild orange, rub it in your hands, and then smell. See if you can keep that bad mood. You know what I'm talking about? See if you can think those nasty thoughts about that person. It just doesn't happen. So here, when I smell wild orange, I think immediately of Florida, the sun, the beach, Disney World. Those are the things that come to my mind when wild orange. And I can't keep the bad thoughts in my mind. That is how powerful our sense of smell is. And so using these products and using the essential oils aromatically is really, really powerful. To do at night, to do during the day, to be, anytime. One, it makes your house smell good. And two, it's just uplifting. Our emotions are tied very closely to our sense of smell. And so those are the 3 ways: aromatically, topically, and internally. I hate that camera. How do we get them in our home? How do you get them in your home? A lot of you guys are already a customer of ours, and we want to thank you for that. If you are not a customer of ours, the way you become a customer is so doTERRA works exactly 100% like Costco or Sam's Club. And if you know how Costco and Sam's Clubs work, you basically buy a membership, and then you have the ability to go in and buy at wholesale. And so that is how doTERRA works. There is a $35 membership fee that you pay, and then you get 25% off all of your product, and you buy at the exact same price that I do, and you get all the benefits of being a member, which includes all these points that you get back, and being part of our team, which we give away all the time. So that is kind of the advantage of being a customer of ours and doTERRA. It's exactly like Sam's Club, and that's how it works. You can buy as little product or as much product as you want. You don't have to buy every month. You can buy every second month, every third month, every 6 months, once a year. Whatever you want, you can do. And it is $35 for the membership, and that is for 1 year. Or they do, you can buy these awesome kits. There is kits for almost any type of budget and any type of need. Our favorite is the Home Essentials kit. It comes with the top 10 oils and a great diffuser, but there are all sorts of kits. And we got great promos going on. And when you get a kit, any one of the kits at all, the membership fee is waived. And so you don't pay that membership fee, you just pay for the kit, and the membership comes along with it. And so that is exactly how doTERRA works, and that is how we work. And we love education. I am excited for this summer because I'm not at school any longer right now. I love teaching the kiddos, but I get to do more of this stuff. And so I want to open it up to anybody. I know there are a few people online here. I want to open it up, see if anybody has any questions. I'm pretty sure it's all women here. And so I'm sure you have questions about, and I'm going to take just like 3 minutes, 3 or 4 minutes. How do you get your men to use essential oils? Someone has to have a question. Shar had something great here. She said, I had 2 bad blisters, lavender and melaleuca, who healed them in 2 days. Very true. Know what else is great for blisters? Like if someone has a cold sore, clove. So clove is an amazing oil for that. Also, clove is awesome for canker sores. So melaleuca and clove for canker sores. So any questions that you might have from a men's perspective? Essential oils from a men's perspective? Nobody has anything? If you have any questions later on, also put them in the comments and I will get to them later. And there might be people who watch this later on that may have questions, and I'll answer those in a timely manner, hopefully probably within the next 24 hours or so. But I'm so excited to have you guys here. I'm excited to teach this summer. I'm also going to teach some, I'm going to try to get some other classes on the books. I want to teach, in the month of June, I'd love to teach a natural sleep solutions class. And so there are a lot of people who have issues sleeping. Essential oils can be one component to helping people go to sleep and stay asleep, but there are also other things that we can do. I did a whole study, quite a long 3-month study on natural sleep solutions. Love to do one on a class on the summer oils of the summer. I'd love to do a class on, let's say, natural cleaning, toxic-free cleaning. Many of you know that, and many of you don't, I don't know, but my dad worked for one of the largest chemical companies and retired from them. Worked 33 years for S.E. Johnson, which they make Windex and Raid and Off and all sorts of scrubbing bubbles, all sorts of things that you can clean your house with. So the interesting thing is that we don't use any of them in our house. We use essential oils and water and vinegar. That's what we use to clean our home. And so you can really move towards that toxic-free home. And I don't think people understand a lot of times that the products that we're buying in the store, we assume that they're safe, but many of them are, they disrupt our hormones and our endocrine system. And we wonder why in the last 40 years there's been this uptick in cancer rates and all sort of chronic diseases. But we've also gotten away from and gone to all these chemical type cleaners and commercial type cleaners, and we are eating more processed today than we ever have. But I think the tide is turning back, and so let's be part of that movement. Well, I'm glad you guys were able to join me. Karen and I really care about you guys, and if you have any questions at all, go ahead and put them in the comments section, and we will definitely get to them. But we thank you very much for watching and being a part of Oil Powered Pair and the Oil Powered team. So you guys have a great Thursday night. Take care.